Here we are, Bryce. This is where the magic happens.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Not bad, but a little different than what I was expecting.
Well, we cleaned it out and rearranged it recently, but it's still the same location.
When I agreed to the film noir experience, I thought you were going to give me the authentic experience, not something that's just barely close enough.
Dude, the camera's gonna be pointed there 90% of the time. All the rest of this being different is honestly irrelevant.
I'm just saying, you've got to be careful with changes. They can start small, and then become more drastic, and before you know it, something you love becomes totally unrecognizable.
Okay, stop. I see what you're doing here. Are you done making your cute little metaphor about the movie?
Yes, I am.
Spider-Man 3. After Spider-Man 2, the franchise seemed on top of the world, and trailers for the third installment created massive hype by promising fan-favorite character Venom. Though financially successful, it's widely considered terrible in comparison to its predecessors.
A fourth film was in the works, with Sam Raimi still directing, but disagreements about how to handle it led Sony and Raimi to part ways. Sony wanted to keep the Spider-Man film rights, so they rebooted it, only for the reboot series to eventually fall apart. This caused Sony to make a deal with Marvel Studios to have the character appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Evidently, it's become tradition for me to take a look at films that I like that don't have very warm receptions with audiences, so let's find out. Was Spider-Man 3 really that bad?
We start off with the opening credits. Like Spider-Man 2, it's a comic book style recap. Just in case you thought it was okay to walk into Spider-Man 3 without watching the first two.
It's me, Peter Parker. Your friendly neighborhood, you know. I've come a long way from being the boy who was bit by a spider. Back then, nothing seemed to go right for me. Now, people really like me. I still get to school, top of my class, and I'm in love with the girl of my dreams.
In other words, the midlife crisis driving the plot of the last movie has been tidied up quite nicely, thank you very much.
They say that falling in love is wonderful.
It's my girlfriend.
I'm no theater buff, but this doesn't look like any Get Your Gun. But things are not peachy in regards to his best friend, Harry Osborn, who holds a grudge against Peter for his father's death after learning Peter is Spider-Man in the last movie. And thanks to the entrance of an alien symbiote seeking a host to bond with, Peter's life is about to turn upside down. In about 15 minutes or so.
Then we're introduced to antagonist 2 of 3, Flint Marko, our future Sandman.
You can't hide here, Flint.
I'm just here to see my daughter.
You are an escaped convict. The cops are looking for you.
You committed a crime. Is my dialogue redundant enough yet? Unlike the comics, where Sandman is a D-list villain, often shown as a dumb muscle man, he's portrayed sympathetically here, with a noble cause fueling his crime.
I promise. I'll make you healthy again. Whatever it takes. I'm not a bad person. Just had bad luck.
Back with Peter, he believes himself ready to ask MJ to marry him, prompting an Uncle Ben story from Aunt May.
Your uncle had it all planned. We found the perfect spot by an old tree. Close your eyes, May. And I did. And then he said, open them. And I did. And he was holding this ring. I hope you'll make it very special for Mary Jane. Give her this.
You okay, Steve?
What? What are you talking about? I'm just fine. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Well, good, because I'm fine.
Good, me too.
At peak happiness, Harry attacks Peter, wearing an alternative Green Goblin costume.
Listen to me! I didn't kill your father! He was trying to kill me! He killed himself! Shut up!
It's too early in the movie to resolve our differences. Between the first movie and this movie, the CGI has gotten a good deal better. For the most part. But the way it's shot and how it plays out, it's really fun to watch, so I forgive the discrepancies.
Harry is defeated, with a good chunk of time to see it coming. Like father, like son.
Oh.
Harry!
Great. Keep it. 200.
And clear.
We cut to the police chasing down Flint, who tumbles into a pit of sand that was right in front of him. In his defense, it was dark. Is this how they make moon sand?
What?
Well, do you have a better explanation for what the machine is for?
Initiating demolecularization.
Do you know what that means?
Back at the hospital, Harry's injury has caused loss of recent memories, conveniently removing the events of Spider-Man 2 from his brain. Shame. That was the best one.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hit my head.
Yeah.
Doctor said I was in an accident. Hit and run.
They also found an imprint on my neck like I'd been clotheslined or something, but they didn't want to do more paperwork.
I got here as fast as I could.
I know that face.
How you doing?
Somehow I've been gone for a really long time. Now I'm back home.
It's good to have you back.
You have lovely friends.
My best friends. I'd give my life for them.
Meanwhile, Flint Marko rematerializes as Sandman. Despite some of the logical fallacies of this scenario, I think this is a very touching scene. We're looking at a guy who's gone through a lot, trying to take a past gone wrong and making it right for the sake of his daughter. The score, the powerful visuals, that's all that's used, but it gets the message across well. So no, this time I'm not gonna mock this very powerful, vivid emotion.
Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor.
Our review is printed for MJ's play, an unfavorable one.
Easy on the eyes, but not on the ears. Her small voice didn't carry past the first row.
Yeah, that's... Listen, you were great.
How can she have a small voice and be uneasy on the ears? She's no vocal superstar, but her voice wasn't strained or off-key. She was perfectly acceptable. Critics are harsh sometimes.
Scum of the earth, the lot of them.
Believe me, I know. Spider-Man gets attacked all the time.
This isn't about you. This is about me. It's about my career.
I know, and I'm just saying you can't let it bring you down.
Try and understand how I feel. I look at these words, and it's like my father wrote them.
Okay, her dream is falling apart, plus daddy issues. This cuts deep for her. But Peter's not using Spider-Man for an ego boost. He's just showing understanding about how it feels to get trashed by the media. Daddy issues aside.
Report, crane out of control. Approach with caution.
Go get him, Tiger.
I was vouching for you, Pete, but you had to pick now to try to be cute.
At a photo shoot featuring a shamelessly repurposed Gwen Stacy.
Oh my god, that's Gwen.
Who are you?
It's Brock, sir. Edward Brock Jr. I work at the Daily Bugle. And I'm dating your daughter.
That was so much fail that it almost became a win again. Spider-Man swoops in to save Gwen.
Bugle needs a photo. Thank God you're okay.
Wow, you really don't give a shit, do you?
Now on, I am going to be taking shots of you for the Bugle. They got a guy. Who, Parker? Yeah, look, just between you and me, guy's kind of an amateur.
Speaking of the Bugle, behold one of the greatest comedic setups of all time. Jameson and anger management.
Drink plenty of water.
Thank you.
More importantly, Eddie Brock is vying for a staff job that Peter was in line for.
JJ, I'm your man. I know more about what makes a good picture than any photographer in this town. See, photography, it's not just about, no offense, flagpoles, whatever. It's about lighting, composition, drama.
He isn't wrong. I just hate saying he's not wrong because he's such an ass-kissing punk.
I don't know, I have this stupid little dream of working with one of the greatest newspaper editors of our time. J. Jonah Jameson.
You've got dirt on your nose, by the way. Did you know?
Peter visits Harry at his house, where we get some nice pal moments.
Hey, we were pretty good in the backyard, weren't we?
We were terrible. And we tried out for the varsity team.
For the cheerleaders.
Right.
You know, we always appreciated how you helped me through high school. Just wish I could remember more about him.
If you're forgetting that much, you should go back to the hospital. MJ is fired from the play so unceremoniously, the movie doesn't even deny it.
That was so poorly handled. Yeah.
Don't worry about that review. We're gonna be laughing about it tomorrow night. I promise.
Peter, you trying to help without knowing she's been fired is making things really uncomfortable.
Hey, Pete said you're in a play.
You came, you sent me flowers.
I'll come again tonight.
You can't. I was let go.
You know, this is embarrassing, but I once wrote you a play in high school.
You wrote me a play?
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting better. Gwen gives a speech before awarding Spider-Man the key to the city.
Go ahead, lay one on me.
Really?
What? No, that's a terrible idea. Listen to the kid. Gwen's not your lover in this series. You're gonna propose to Mary Jane, who is in the audience. Do not do this. God damn it, Parker! Spidey is called into action when Sandman robs an armored truck.
I'm the sheriff around these parts.
Okay.
Where do all these guys come from?
Pretty sure the brawl wasn't quite that intimate.
Bruce Campbell makes his third cameo in this trilogy as a French waiter during a pivotal dinner with MJ.
You want to pop the question tonight, huh?
A moment heavily complicated by drama.
You have no idea how I feel right now.
No, I know exactly how you feel. It happens to me all the time. I see Spider-Man posters in the window. The kids running around with me on their sweaters. It's a big Halloween item.
To be frank, they're both at fault here. Peter can't see that the Spider-Man comparisons aren't helping, especially the ones used here. And MJ hasn't told Peter that she was fired, and it appears she isn't planning to. But the edge goes to Peter. Because Gwen.
Pete, if you've got a picture of my kiss with Spider-Man, could you bring it to class? I'd really love it. After all, who gets kissed by Spider-Man, right?
She's your lab partner? You saved her life? She thinks you're a genius and she had her polished fingernails all over you? Or didn't you notice? That was our kiss. Why would you do that? You must have known how it'd make me feel. Do you want to push me away?
Why would I want to push you away? I love you.
Pitiful communication skills aside, this is a good point in the movie to have some emotional turmoil. Because Peter is then told the true identity of Uncle Ben's killer.
This is the man who killed your husband.
Witnesses? Why weren't we told about this?
Settle down, son.
No, I have no intention of settling down. This man killed my uncle, and he's still out there.
Peter is now emotional, vulnerable, and filled with a desire for vengeance. So naturally, the time is now Symbiote o'clock.
Seems to like you. Don't let any of that get on you.
Why not?
It has the characteristics of a symbiote, which needs to bond to a host to survive.
With this newfound power, he sets out to take care of Marco. He's lucky that Marco survives this, and that he kind of has the suit to blame for being extra aggressive. Otherwise, this might get the Man of Steel treatment.
Spider-Man doesn't kill people.
You see, there's one of them now.
Soon after, Peter overreacts at his landlord.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
From that, he decides it's better to put away the suit. As for MJ...
Mary Jane, please.
I'm sorry.
And I guess that rejection sparks Harry's memory?
Have you done? Avenge me!
I want to see you.
If you want Peter to live, you're gonna do something for me.
This causes Mary Jane to break up with Peter to protect him from Harry. The second dumbest thing to happen in this movie.
I'm lonely. You aren't there for me. I can't do this. It's over.
No. Please.
He's Spider-Man. MJ should know that he can handle it.
We love each other. I love you. We have problems. When people have problems, they work it out. They talk to each other.
Exactly, and I know this isn't the most important thing right now, but it begs pointing out. MJ still has not told Peter she was fired from the play.
There's someone else. I've fallen in love with someone else.
Harry taunts Peter by saying he is the other guy.
She came to me one afternoon troubled. She needed someone and I was there for her.
Causing Peter to put the tainted suit back on and confront him.
Would you like a drink?
This is a little more like it. Less spectacle, more intensity. Good for a personal fight between friends, punctuated by harsh words from them both.
It was just like she used to kiss me. That taste. Strawberries.
And a great way to show Peter's elevated bitterness from the symbiote.
You took him from me. He loved me.
No. He despised you. You were an embarrassment to him.
Alas, this kicks off the universally hated part of the movie. Emo Peter. I won't even try forming a defense for this. We get 10 minutes of Peter acting like a straight-up creeper. He hits on his landlord's daughter, does pelvic thrusts at women on the street, and dances with Gwen just to spite Mary Jane. It feels so thematically disconnected from what this movie is supposed to be about. The only positive thing to come of it is when he exposes Eddie Brock as a fraud, causing Jameson to commit the only honest firing of his whole career.
Pack your things. Get out of my building.
I was just...
You're fired!
Comics where Peter is under symbiotic influence include these basic traits. Less of a pushover? Check. More aggressive/irritable? Check. Intensely douchey? Big check. Technically, all the ingredients were there. The execution was just questionable. The symbiote is meant to amplify existing negativity and aggression within its host and loosen their restraint on those impulses, not give them such a wildly different personality.
Is everything okay here, Paul?
Yeah. Everything okay here, Paul?
Take him out of here.
You know what might have made a more effective snap out of it moment? Peter lashing out at Aunt May. It'd be way over the line for his conscience and would break audience hearts like that. But this is the pure wholesome Aunt May as portrayed by Rosemary Harris. To inflict that level of emotional trauma on this character? I might be going to hell just for suggesting it. Meanwhile, Eddie Brock might actually be going to hell by praying for this.
I want you to kill Peter Parker.
Peter uses the intense noise of the bell to disrupt his connection with the symbiote.
Parker.
Causing it to fall downward and take over Eddie Brock. Cool as this reveal is, think of how awesome it would have been had they kept Venom out of the trailers. It would have been a huge surprise! Next, Venom teams up with Sandman and kidnaps MJ. The odds are overwhelming, so Peter asks Harry for backup.
You don't deserve my help.
Harry. She needs us.
Get out.
Issues with Peter, fine. But what about MJ, you d***?
The night your father died, I cleaned his wound. The blade that pierced his body came from his glider.
You've known that all this time, and you picked now to tell me?
So Peter swings in alone, getting a pretty brutal beatdown in the process.
We can find a way to settle this.
I'm thinking humiliation. Kind of like how you humiliated me.
You mean that time when Peter uncovered you as a thieving photoshopping fraud? Cry me a river.
I don't know how we can take any more.
This could be a tragic day for the people of New York. It could be the end of Spider-Man.
Looks like just in the nick of time.
A couple minutes ago wouldn't have been so bad either.
What are you gonna do?
Seeing Spider-Man and Harry's Green Goblin team up against Venom and Sandman almost makes it worth having multiple villains in this movie. Among all the messy stuff, this was one thing that was really awesome to see happen.
You okay?
Why are you leaving her on the battlefield? Bring her to the ground, you moron!
Ah, not again. Now Harry's gonna wake up and go, "Hey, buddy." Whoa, you're Spider-Man? But the tumble causes some pipes to clatter around, reminding Peter of the symbiote's weakness. Even though it's been less than 24 hours since Pete discovered it. How unfortunate. Venom's death is followed by Flint and Peter talking about how Uncle Ben died.
I realize now he was just trying to help me. Then I saw my partner running over with the cash, and the gun was in my hand. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just want you to understand.
I forgive you.
Harry's death.
I should never have hurt you.
None of that matters, Peter.
Whatever battle we have raging inside us, we always have a choice. It's the choices that make us who we are. And we can always choose to do what's right.
And an ending that didn't go for an uplifting final note like the other two did. I commend it for that choice. With all the stuff that went down, a tone of mourning makes more sense.
So that was Spider-Man 3. Let's get the major flaws out of the way first. As it's always been said, there are too many villains. This story element serves as a catalyst for every major problem with the pacing, emotional tone, and making sure that every character arc gets its due. Luckily, Harry was already in 2 of the movies, so they didn't need to reintroduce him. They just needed to give him amnesia for a while.
As for Sandman and Venom, under the circumstances, the execution was the best it could be. Both were introduced early, had time to establish who they were, and served as strong sources of conflict for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Alas, movies don't win over audiences with best it could be under the circumstances.
But even if you take the movie at face value, it's got plenty of enjoyable qualities. The stylish action sequences, the sense of humor, the personality of the world that's been created by this trilogy, some strong emotional moments. This movie still has the DNA of what made the first two films special. I can't necessarily call the third one good. It's very flawed. But I enjoy many things about it, and I don't think it deserves to be lumped into a trash heap with comic book films that truly deserve to be there. Now let's address the plot holes. The ones not created by Peter and MJ's terrible communication skills.
Peter carried Harry to the hospital, so why weren't certain questions raised?
Peter's alibi could be, I turned the corner and saw him on the ground, but what about the skin imprint that would have been left from Peter clotheslining him? That's a major oversight in medical examination.
How did the news cameras filming the final battle not catch a glimpse of Peter's unmasked face?
The cameras were able to ID Mary Jane from the ground. Even if there was a lot of fast movement during the fight, Peter's face should have been glimpsed at least once. Well, would you look at that, Bryce? Even with a rearranged garage, we got through the entire review without everything falling into chaos.
I was just screwing with you, Steve.
I know that. I'm just throwing the motif back in your face.
Well, in that case, the garage looks great. Unlike Spider-Man 3, it got the changes it needed. It's a lot less cluttered in here now and gives you a lot more space to work with.
I know, right? I mean, I think we can actually fit 2 cars in here now without them cramping each other.
But one change went too far, and now this review won't get a proper ending.
Motherfucker!
That was so poorly handled.